Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Butoff. Thank you guys for joining us here on our social media feeds as you do Tuesday nights throughout the season and off season. Jacob, you just had a special guest on the show.
I did.
I was not expecting that, and the pupper ran away before I could say something. So
Come here.
let's get the pupper on screen here. Oh, there we go. For those of you that don't know, this is Jacob's pup. This is
Brucey.
Brucey. All right.
May or may not be named after a New Mexico United player.
There we go.
If you ask me, he is. If you ask my wife, he is not. But yeah, that's Bruce.
Named after the shark, right?
Yeah. Fish are friends.
There we go. Anyway, joining me this evening, guys, we've got so much to talk about. I'm super excited to get to tonight's show. It's been a couple weeks since we were here. Yeah, we have joining us. We have a map of the United States, which hopefully is correct. And we also have Jacob Turrell. Earl Nieto, I don't know where he went. Earl was just sitting here. I don't know, but this is, of course, why Earl is the head of Shithousery. So,
Tom, how you doing?
Appreciate you guys being here. Tom, how you doing, man? Glad to have you over in the chat. If you are in the chat on Facebook and YouTube, be sure to pop on over in there and throw your questions and comments in the chat. We will get to those throughout the evening about all sorts of topics. And as we do so regularly here on the show, I do have one burning question, and this one is directed towards Earl.
Is that a squirrel?
It's a fucking squirrel with a tie.
I mean, that's you. That's you to a T.
Yeah.
Earl, did you watch Elimination Chamber finally, and why did you not watch?
So, thanks for calling me out. I did finally watch Elimination Chamber.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay. This is what I was curious about. I was really curious to see if you actually got to sit and watch it, because you accused me of ruining this for you. You said, go ahead and ruin it. And I
was not worried about it.
Okay.
And then you stopped texting, so I was like, what the fuck? Like, he's not ruining it, whatever. Yes, I did watch it. No, I did not watch it on company time. I took my lunch.
Team Earl in the chat. That's a new one. Appreciate that.
Oh, Robert.
Kudos. So Earl, at this point, has Jacob watched more WWE this year than you?
No, of course not.
I have not watched Elimination Chamber, so
Okay. So I was just curious.
So yeah, I did watch it yesterday when I finally got time to sit down. And the reason why I didn't watch it is because what's that old saying, Jacob, that you were saying saying a while back? I remember it now. Thinking with my dick.
Oh yeah. You don't know, we're live now, right?
Yes, we are live now. Yes.
Harry.
Yeah.
Harry, how you doing, buddy? Glad to have you here.
I was actually spending quality time with my family-ish, if that's what it wants to be called. Yes, they're my family. I'm gonna be honest. So I was spending time with them and totally forgot that Elimination Chamber was on. So by the time we got home to my house, it was 8:30. No reason to watch it. But I do think that Sami Zayn got screwed.
I was astonished that they did not start a "You screwed Sammy" chant, much like what happened with the Bret Hart many years ago. But I brought this up, Earl, because we had a discussion a couple weeks ago about how bad Royal Rumble was, or at least how bad it appeared. And to me, Elimination Chamber, this was a fantastic show, like top to bottom. Like it was just a really well done show.
Yeah, I still hate 3 with a passion.
I mean, you certainly still can, but
yeah.
And I just thought it was really well done, and just it was a better show, top to bottom. The matches were better, a lot more entertaining, and obviously, WrestleMania is just a matter of weeks here. So
39 days.
There you go, 39 days to WrestleMania. So we'll definitely be keeping.
And believe it or not, I just might miss opening night.
Well, we already knew you were going to WrestleMania.
No, I'm not going to WrestleMania.
Oh.
I just might miss opening night watching it Saturday night, unless I can convince my girlfriend to sit down and watch it with me.
Okay. This is a point of discussion on the podcast as to whether or not she was going to number one, let you watch it. Number two, whether or not you were going to be able to convince her to sit down and watch it with you.
Real quick. Okay, first of all, I didn't realize this, but I just held up a crochet needle while I'm about to say this, and that's probably the oldest thing I've ever done in my life. Werther's original freaking slaps. So I want Team Earl to shut his mouth over there and leave that alone. And yes, crochet needle and Werther's original. So it doesn't really do a whole lot to help my case about not being old. So, and I'm not the oldest person here. It's freaking Seth. Thank you very much.
That is true. I am the oldest person on the podcast by a couple years. So.
By physical age, it's Seth. By mentality, it's clearly Earl. And we will get into why with his get off my fucking lawn takes here in a little bit.
Yes, you guys, yeah. And this is something we wanted. I told Earl to save this energy for the podcast tonight. And at first Earl said, "What's on Tuesday?" And because Earl had some takes.
I did not say that. Hold on.
He didn't quite say it.
He almost did.
He said, "Hold on. Oh, I almost forgot. Today's Monday." So
actually, I said, "Oh, how I almost forgot today was Monday."
That's exactly what I just said.
Only because I actually did forget it was fucking Monday because it was such a terrible day.
Did you forget about not working over the weekend and then having to go back to the office?
I've actually been off since Thursday.
Oh, fair enough. That state employee, you probably didn't have to work yesterday, huh?
Actually, I did have to work yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday wasn't a holiday for state employees.
Oh, okay. It wasn't a holiday for me either. So, but
I've been off for 4 days, so I forgot yesterday was Monday.
Fair enough. So, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on WrestleMania as that is coming up. But, let's just jump right into it. New Mexico United has got the big, massive announcement, and this got some takes out of Earl. Coming to the lab on July 19th, Sunderland AFC takes a trip out west as part of their preseason schedule. It takes on New Mexico United. This will, of course, be New Mexico United's second international friendly against the club from England. First time was back in 2019. New Mexico United played Cardiff City FC to a 1-1 draw. This year has the potential to be an even bigger matchup because Sunderland is on the brink of potentially getting back into the Premier League, depending on how the end of the EFL Championship season goes here. So, first of all, we saw the teaser late Sunday night, and we had differing opinions on what it might be. I sent a text out to the club to inquire about whether or not it was in fact a stadium announcement, and they said no, it is not. So, but this here is a massive announcement, and so when my initial reaction is excitement because I'm a huge soccer fan in general, huge football fan. I've watched Sunderland Till I Die on Netflix. I've watched it multiple times, and Sunderland's story is just absolutely incredible if you go back through their history. And so, Earl, I want to start with you. I gotta start with you on this. You had a very interesting reaction to this announcement here. Why don't you explain to our viewers and our listeners what your initial reaction was and how you brought that to our attention in our group text?
Okay, let me pull up said group text.
I have it right here. Hold on.
Oh, Jacob's at the ready. There you go. I knew Jacob would have it.
Quote, Earl, Sunderland, July 19th. Seth, that's exciting. Earl, yeah, if it would have been on a Friday or Saturday, ... but a Wednesday? Oh, and United isn't the one bringing them in. San Antonio is. They probably had a connecting flight back overseas through Albuquerque and figured, quote, why not? Fast forward a couple texts from Seth. Earl, well, not all of us live 8.5 minutes from the lab. So essentially, if you're a United fan that lives in the greater Albuquerque metro, then and only then do you get the entire perks of being a fan. Just saying. No sour grapes, just annoyed. First of all, that was fucking for sure sour grapes. No sour grapes, just annoyed between July 4th and July 22nd. United couldn't come up with a weekend to host Sunderland.
Yeah, so I actually have to stand corrected because their season ends May 8th. So anytime between May 8th and the middle of fucking November, they couldn't come up with anything. So yeah, I'm still annoyed. So look, I'm excited about it. I won't be able to go because I will probably be living in Santa Fe by that time. And I also work in Santa Fe, so I will
Time out.
not be...
Time
Shut
out.
your mouth.
No. No. I have lived in Fort Sumner for the past 2 seasons, and I have made it to a couple Wednesday matches if they are important enough for me. And so, to you and your woe is me, Santa Fe, 45 minutes away, I can't make it. Blah blah blah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. I recently transferred to Santa Fe. So taking a day off on Thursday.
You don't have to take a day off. You just get a little.
Motherfucker.
No, you don't. I would drive out there after work, go to the game, drive back, get back at 2:00 in the morning, and then get up at 7 and go to work. If you want it bad enough, you can do it. You're just an old fucking curmudgeon that doesn't want to get up and enjoys his beauty rest, even though you still look like that.
We're now past Earl's bedtime, which has reverted to 9:00. So
actually, not 9:00, motherfucker. It's 8:00.
8:00. Okay, so we are keeping Earl up, so he's going to be a little bit ornery as we go forward with the show. So,
and he also didn't eat dinner for some unknown because he's a fucking child, apparently.
they didn't have chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese for him.
He threw a temper tantrum because they were too hot and just threw them away.
Actually, before you jackasses make assumptions over there, I was actually doing schoolwork.
Oh yeah, because you're in high school still. Because you're a fucking child. What were you having to do? Sight words?
No, I was not having to do sight words.
He learned parallelograms today.
Oh, parallelograms.
I had to do a basic addition. 1 + 1 = 3 if you're not protective.
Yeah, very, very true.
Real quick diversion. What is it called when two letters put together make a certain sound? So like the sh sound or ph with a f sound. Do you know what that's called? This isn't a joke. This is not a joke.
I really haven't got that far in my book. I really don't know what it's called.
Do you know what it is, Seth?
I should know. I honestly, it's part of like elementary education. So
my 6-year-old knows. He was like, "Hey, that's a diaphragm or whatever the hell it's called," and I was like, "Oh, what?" And he was like, "That when 2 letters are," and I was like, "No, you cannot be smarter than me already, kid. You are 6."
Dude, I'm telling you, kids are smart these days.
Yeah, they are. But I do know.
Yeah, they are, and apparently you can paint toenails really well too.
Yeah, they really can. One word and another word that mean 2 different things combined. I know what that means.
Please tell us, Earl.
A compound word.
Ladies and gentlemen, Earl Nieto, everybody. Earl Nieto, give him a round of applause. Round of applause for Earl. Round of applause for Earl.
This has been grade school English with Earl.
Now, real quick, Earl.
All right, back to adult Earl.
Why couldn't you just be excited that Sunderland was coming to town?
Because I don't like the Premier League.
They're not in the Premier League. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Bottom half of the fucking FA Cup League, whatever the fuck they want to be called, the toilet bowl.
No, they're sitting 3rd place in the EFL Championship right now.
Same thing.
No. Not even close.
Either way. Deep down, I am excited. I'm excited that a major team, whatever they want to be called, is coming to New Mexico.
I would just say a famous club, because that's what they are.
I said a major club.
I know, but say a famous club, because that's what they are.
As United put out, they're one of the most storied clubs in English football history, and they absolutely are. They've won the top flight championship 6 times. In recent years, they have had a number of bad years where they were seen relegated from the Premier League down to League 2, and have fought their way back up. Fantastic! Again, I already mentioned fantastic documentary series over on Netflix, Sunderland Till I Die. Go check it out. I mean, this is a huge get, and I want to talk to Harry's point here in the chat. I popped it up on the screen a minute ago. Harry did say that he finds it odd that both Cardiff and Sunderland played San Antonio and New Mexico. Wonders if there's some sort of connection between the 2 clubs. I'm assuming Harry's talking about New Mexico and San Antonio. Now, Earl, you made the comment about there being a connecting flight out of Albuquerque internationally, which I think is absolutely ridiculous because just fly to Dallas, New York, whatever. Now, Sunderland does have another match afterwards in North Carolina, so it's not like they're coming here and then leaving.
Yes, they had to connect to New Mexico to get to Phoenix to get to North Carolina.
Unfortunately, with the way flight patterns are, that could be the case because they will send you wherever. But anyway,
yes, Seth flies Delta, which has direct nonstop flights to Atlanta. He also flies standby, though.
No, I don't. I do not. I do not fly standby.
Man.
No, I wish, man. I wish I had first class.
For him and his kids.
I will say I do have family that retired from Delta, so we do get buddy passes. He does. I don't use them. I haven't because flying with kids, I'd rather not fly standby. But yeah, those direct flights from Albuquerque to Atlanta are fantastic. But anyway,
yeah, so if you fly anything else other than Delta, then you have to go through either Phoenix or Dallas. And with the way America's flight patterns are, and
I can't believe Earl's actually trying to justify this.
I can't.
Terrible take, Earl. It's a terrible take. You were just grumpy for some unknown reason. Married life's getting to you, whatever it may be. Just 5-year-old wearing you down day after day. It happens. It's okay. We understand.
And I'm curious too about the complaint about being midweek. I know I get that you're going to be living in Santa Fe or somewhere outside of town.
Still,
but looking at the schedules,
Jesus
I gave you New Mexico United schedule. They're basically the schedule for the Ice Oaks Park for that time frame. Now, English football, they're after May, they're in their off season and they don't start their preseason workouts until July. And so we've seen over the past several years, these English clubs do come over to North America and have matches here. Everton a couple years ago had a Florida Cup where they played against various different teams down in Florida, and different European clubs come over here and do these types of things. They do these tours. And so in order to fit it into United schedule, that was the only place that they had available. Now, I don't know the workings on these deals. I don't know how exactly it came about, but I agree with Harry. I wonder if there's something between San Antonio and New Mexico, but hey, look, what can we do to try to bring in, ticket sales, bring in one of these clubs and do something? I mean, do you think there's something to that? Do you think that there's some sort of collusion factor as to why it's on a Wednesday night so that Earl can't make it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, everybody knows that United just wants to screw over Earl as many times as possible, and have First Financial Credit Union as a sponsor, and they can't stand Earl, so they try to do whatever they can. As far as the Wednesday night thing, I mean, it is what it is. They play San Antonio on Saturday because San Antonio has their own stadium and can do whatever they want with the weekends that they have off, and we don't. So we had to adjust. And now we get them on a Wednesday. But guess what? They're still here. And most of the time, if you're going to have a Open Cup or exhibition game in the middle of a season, it's not on a weekend. Like it's pretty rare. Cardiff wasn't on a weekend. All of our Open Cup matches aren't on weekends. It's just that's not the way it works. So what it is he loves this little tiny violin that plays the world's saddest song, and he likes to hog it for some reason. And so he'll get over it. And I think he was about to say earlier that it's not even about him, but it's clearly about him because nobody else cared. Look at the response on social media. It was all positive. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. They're coming to town. That's amazing. We got to go. Not, oh, I don't know if I can go because it's on a Wednesday and I live 45 minutes away. I don't know.
Yeah, and just like in 2019 against Cardiff, this is one of those rare opportunities that we here in the States are going to get to see an English club or a club from another nation, no matter where they're located. I mean, obviously San Antonio gets, clubs that gets matches against some of the Mexican clubs from time to time. I think El Paso does as well and some of the others, but I mean, this is a huge get. And the prior match against Cardiff City was over at the UNM Soccer Complex, which was sold out, fantastic numbers. There were special merchandise for that day. I imagine there's going to be special merchandise for this match as well. But I think this is absolutely huge. And then for it to be played at the Lab, I think that's going to be absolutely interesting to see, especially for the Sunderland folks, to see how they react to playing on a baseball field. I think that's really interesting to see. I'm really surprised it's not at the soccer complex for that.
Nah, they know they want fans there, so they're gonna do the 15,000 seat stadium instead of the 7.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely what it is. I mean, the club's going to try to, I bet this polls somewhere in the neighborhood of 15, 16,000 tickets, through standing room only and whatnot. But, and to Harry's point, it's a huge get for USL in general. It absolutely is. I think this continue again. We've talked about it before. The USL continues to grow, and we've seen players get transferred over to Europe directly from the USL. I mean, Earl, looking at this purely from a business standpoint, do you think that this makes a lot of sense for the USL and their continued growth going forward?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime you reach out to a bigger market, whether it's Bundesliga, the Premier League, the EFL, any big market, La Liga, whatever the hell, if you can draw a big name to come in, I mean, even Cardiff was a big thing for USL. But if you could bring in a big name like Sunderland or Cardiff or anything like that, then yeah, obviously it's going to be a big market boost for your brand. I mean, that's a given.
Jacob, do you see any downside to this match at all?
No. I mean, it's an exhibition. Nobody's going to care if we win or lose. You're going to draw in. Maybe there might be.
Hold on. There will be at least one person that cares if we lose. Cole.
Yeah, Cole will care. I did see a comment over on Facebook from someone stating they would be excited to see Sunderland lose as they were a Newcastle fan. So.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, what we might get, like we talked about the negatives. I can't think of any, but the positives are, I mean, they're unlimited. I mean, it's going to. Especially having it at the lab. I mean, you're already going to get the New Mexico United faithful that are always excited about it. But bringing in a team like Sunderland could be like, there could be a handful of people that have never been to a United game that watch a lot of Netflix, saw the documentary, said, oh, they're coming to Albuquerque? Oh, let's go watch them just to see. Mm-hmm. And then they get introduced to United, and then maybe they become United fans and actually go to games and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's huge. Harry said it's a huge get for USL. You see this happen. You're starting to see it a little more. No, Harry, don't put that out there. And so, yeah, there's no downside. It's all positive. That's about it.
Yeah, it's certainly exciting. This is and if you watched United Sessions last night, you get to hear Tyler Ortega talk about how he kept this a secret from Chris Hurst for 6 months. I actually ran into Chris over the weekend, and still at that point, nobody knew anything about it. Chris, obviously a big supporter, and so it's big news for him. So go check out United Sessions if you haven't already. But yeah, to Harry's point, I mean, obviously at that point, United has Ice Hopes are in town for 3-game series the weekend prior. There's going to be time to do the turnaround of the field and get it there. So it should be looking pretty good for that time of year. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing what we can do against a potential Premier League side. I mean, obviously, going into this, I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to see a club like Sunderland. Again, I mentioned this is something that I'm planning a trip to England because I want to go see Everton play. Now, will I ever get to do it more than once? Probably not. But like, this is one of those things doesn't happen very often unless you're muted, unless you have means to do so.
Are you going to be able to make it this year, or are you going to?
No, not this year.
You're going to have to watch them in the championship then.
No, I plan on watching them next year at the brand new stadium, Bramley Moordock. So
yeah, while they're in the championship though.
In the Premier League, by the way, we've won 2 of 3. So
we'll see.
We will see. We did just beat Arsenal.
You did. I appreciated that.
Yes.
I appreciated that. Q Earl going, who? What? Huh? What do you mean championship?
Wait, what are we doing here again?
Isn't the championship the highest league? What do you mean?
Right.
Wait, what are we doing here again?
Earl doesn't understand the Premier League, so
I don't care about the Premier League. That's the thing.
Why not?
Because
Okay, well, there you go. Since Earl stated his objection to the Premier League, we can certainly move on. In all seriousness, Earl, why don't you like the Premier League? Why don't you care?
nope. Go ahead and move on.
All right. So, yeah, obviously, July 19th, New Mexico United hosting Sunderland AFC at the Lab. Keep an eye out for tickets and availability for that. I will be there for sure. I'm assuming you guys are definitely going to do your best to try to make it. Earl, probably not, since he's boycotting anything related to Wednesday nights or First Financial Credit Union, which we'll get to here in just a second. That's another discussion that we have.
Or English football.
Or English, yeah.
Because German is better.
In general. Yeah. Debatable.
So what's better? Honest opinion. English tea or beer? My fucking point. Actually,
I don't even know what you said. You sounded English there, and
so I said, what's better?
Okay, Boomhauer.
English tea or beer?
What's better? English tea or beer? Which I can't even make this discussion anymore because I don't drink beer. So,
there's so many factors that go into this. I mean, what type of beer, with the brand of the beer?
We're not doing this. We're not.
I know we're not. As we know, New Mexico United is in the middle of their preseason. We've got 4 matches in the books.
Is oolong tea English?
Are you speaking English right now? What the?
Fairly certain it's not, but we can
about tea.
Yeah. Question from Harry Austin over in the chat. Harry says, if you could pick a friendly, who would it be against?
I mean,
Frankfurt.
You probably expect him to say Tottenham, but I'm actually going to say Bayern Munich for some reason.
That would be interesting. That would be really, really interesting. I don't think it would ever happen in any sort of realm of possibility, but I don't think Frankfurt would ever do it. I mean, obviously, we could all pick our top tier clubs. Everton, Tottenham. We could pick anyone from the Bundesliga. I mean,
I take that back because I would actually like to see Dortmund. Dortmund here would be fun. Black and yellow versus black and yellow. That'd be fun.
That would be interesting. Yeah. I mean, I could say Gladbach. There's any kinds but I think if it was like a domestic friendly, I'd want to see them play. I mean, obviously, and this is me being kind of homerish. Enter Miami, because I'd love to see Joseph Martinez in person.
Who?
Yeah, El Rey. All-time goal scorer leader for the U.S. for the MLS.
Do you root for players now and not laundry? Is that what's going on?
No. I just I'm bitter. I still support Joseph. I think Joseph's a fantastic player, but I will not support Inter Miami. I will never cheer for Joseph against Atlanta United. I will never do that. So, internationally, I mean, there's all sorts of clubs. I mean, you could pick some of the Saudi clubs, which was pretty good.
Right, for crying out loud.
Where Earl, where were you on the? Are you still talking? Where's that drop? Where you at on that?
Holy fucking Moses on a Chinese powered balloon.
I'm just saying there's so many options out there. Like, I would have a hard time picking one.
Are you done yet?
I did.
I know you did.
Earl did.
All right, fine. PSG. How about that?
Okay. Well, you said Miami. I mean, you could have Joseph and Messi. Next year, if
that is true. That is true. That's very much in the realm of possibility of things that could happen next year. So, as we were moving on before Earl interrupted, as we know, New Mexico United is in the middle of their preseason, 4 matches in already. We haven't talked about it. We didn't podcast last week. We waited, but looking back at the first 4 matches. United opened their preseason with a draw against Luz City, who were, of course, the Eastern Conference champions last year. Then they picked up a 3-1 win over Detroit City FC. They picked up a 3-3 draw as they closed out their series in Tucson against Chicago Fire FC. And then, of course, they picked up a win this past weekend as Yuma picked up a red card in a friendly as El Paso fell to New Mexico United once again, this time by a final of 3-1. Guys, I gotta say, from everything that we've seen so far, and unfortunately none of us were able to get out to the preseason match on Sunday, Josh Wagner is looking pretty good. Or Alex Wagner, I should say. Alex Wagner is looking. No. I know what I'm thinking because I had somewhere else I was going to go. Alex Wagner is looking really good early on. He's had in general, yes, the videos you've been sharing on Twitter and the breakdown that you've been giving has been phenomenal. I mean, talk about some of these clips that the club has put out.
Yeah, I mean, so we don't get defensive clips, right? So I have no idea necessarily how the defense looks, and that's probably the part that I'm a little worried about, just because we've have some lack of depth there. We did give up 3 goals. We haven't kept a clean sheet. We've given up multiple goals in 2 of the 4 games. El Paso ended up scoring first on us, but these goals, man, they just, they're not flukes. They're not like one of them, obviously. I mean, Daniel Bruce scoring from midfield over the top of the keeper. That's obviously not going to happen consistently. Although he did apparently try it against El Paso. You're not going to get that every match, but a lot of these are creating space specifically out wide, specifically like Santi on that left side, putting in a cross. We've seen Josh Doling come out, have a brace off of a fantastic cross from Santi. And an incredible finish, which is something that we've lacked the last year or so as well. But so to see stuff like that, to see kind of a not a loose ball, but a ticky-tacky play kind of inside the box that leads to Amando finding streaking Doling, who finishes it nicely with a defender draped all over him. I mean, you see these things and it's like, all right, these are the type of goals that you can replicate match in and match out. And they've just got me really, really excited. And it's not just like 2 or 3 players. I mean, Santi's been involved in a lot. Hurst has been involved in a lot. Doling's been involved. Moreno has been involved. Bruce has been involved. Weehan has a goal. And then you get to the El Paso match and you have the old man, Josh Suggs, whipping a ball into the young man, Alex Wagner, who goes up and gets it completely unmarked. I mean, a lot of the defense hasn't been fantastic against us, but several of them have been, and we've made smart runs. I mean, you had Moreno's goal, I believe it was against Chicago, where he goes from the back post, cuts across the face of a defender to the front post, gets one touch on it, and basically, I mean, not quite chips the keeper, but lifts the ball up and over the keeper to the far post. And that kind of run wasn't stuff we were seeing. We'd see guys, if they're at the back post, they just run to the back post, and then there's a defender right in front of them to clear it. But this one, he fights to get in front of the defender and finishes nicely. And so you just see stuff like this that you're like, all right, if we're already kind of gelling like this now, then maybe this offense is actually going to produce something this year, and not quite be as stagnant as it was last year. And we've talked about the roster. Well, I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit more later, but going into the preseason, we were looking at it like, holy, we have 20 players and 3 of them are on academy contracts. That's not a lot of depth. We probably need more depth, and we do probably need more depth. But when you have 6, 7, 8 guys that have produced a goal, if not more, already in the preseason through 4 matches, and it's like, all right, well, maybe offensively we're there. Maybe we've got enough moving parts that between Wagner and Doling and Hurst up top, we got three nines that could actually be dangerous. And of course, you mix in the wings that we have with Santi and Moreno and Bruce and Nava and Harry and one person that's been kind of absent from, I think, anything that I've really seen is Rivas. Do we know if he's hurt or something, or no info on him? I'll dig into that a little bit more, see if I can find anything out, because I know he's been posted in some pictures of him dealing with fans and interacting with fans and stuff, but but he definitely hasn't been involved in any of the offense. And I'd have to go back through the team sheets and see, but I don't remember him playing except for maybe in the first match or so. So maybe he picked up a knock or something. We'll have to see. But I mean, you still have plenty of depth there, and to give up only one goal against El Paso, although I think we might need to take that El Paso win and kind of lower it down as far as how good of a win it was, because I think El Paso might be garbage this year, like even more so than last year. I don't know, and then when we mentioned Yuma getting kicked out, I will point out that last year, I believe I posted a video of a incredibly reckless tackle that he had in the friendly last preseason.
Yes.
And probably should have been red carded for it and was not.
Yeah.
So this guy's just a fucking joke. And the fact that El Paso supporters love him just kind of speaks to how El Paso fans see themselves, I guess.
Yeah, they do say he is a master of the dark arts, and we've obviously seen what he can do and the impact that he can have. But yeah, I mean, just the way that he acts in these matches, particularly in the preseason, and I don't know what got him riled up on Sunday, but to go and put hands to the throat of a young man, put his hands to the throat of Alex Wagner, like that's completely unacceptable, and completely warranted for him to be sent off with a red card. I don't understand why they allowed them. I understand preseason, whatever, but I don't understand allowing El Paso to continue to play with 11. I don't understand that, but it's neither here nor there. But like, just I have a feeling that,
honestly, I mean, if I'm El Paso, I want to try to play with 10 men because Yuma's on my team, and I'm probably going to be down to 10 men a few times this year. So might as well
exactly
in the preseason.
Yeah, Earl, looking over at what's happened so far, I mean, we talked a lot in the offseason and heading up into the preseason here about the signings and who's coming in, who are we going to have consistent goal scorers. Do the performances so far give you a stronger belief in this club going forward so far?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, seeing the videos from like Wagner doing his thing and just being pretty much the hype of United's social media right now, that's good. That's incredible because maybe he can be the next Nava, which I hope he can be, because then that shows that our academy is working. And just seeing, I mean, Josh Doling doing his thing and Greg Hurst being part of it, and Santi coming back and being loved by everybody, and just showing that he can still produce even after having a piss poor season over in Phoenix. That's good, and it shows that we could still be deadly. And I don't know what the fuck Jacob has planned, so
Ignore me. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing either. So,
but yeah, so just showing, oh, you son of a bitch! I just tore my pants. That's cool.
Well, at least it's not on camera, so please do not stand up.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so just seeing that and seeing the fact that we're communicating well and scoring goals against top teams like Chicago and Lou City and shit like that. I mean, that's good for us.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we've talked about it a lot. You know, we had issues scoring last season. We really did. And we're already in double-digit goals, or close to double-digit goals through 4 matches in the preseason. Again, preseason teams aren't necessarily playing their top 11, getting looks at guys and things like that. But it definitely looks promising. It gives a lot of hope to United faithful to see these goals, to see the movement on the pitch, to see these guys creating from the wide areas, to see multiple guys contributing to those. And, it seems like, Hursty has done some of the things that we thought he might do. Come in, hold the ball up a little bit, and give some other guys opportunities to get into a position to score. We've seen, Santi and Suggs and Bruce all deliver the ball. The goal that Wagner scored the other day, just elevating off that cross from Suggsy and just smashes the ball home with a fantastic header. I mean, this is something that we haven't necessarily had because that wasn't in Dev's repertoire, you know. I mean, Kevon, sure, but I mean, how much delivery was he getting last season when he was here? Not as much as he needed. And so these are real promising signs going forward. Jacob, you talked about the defense already, and at this point, I don't know what to think about the defense. Yes, we've given up some goals. Yeah, I mean, I would say we gave up 3 to Chicago. I mean, MLS side, I'm not terribly worried about that, and obviously we've had Ford come in. We've had him playing some. We've had Alex playing some. So there's different guys popping in and out, and so it'll be interesting to see what finally happens, what comes out day one, for that first match day. What do you think from, obviously there haven't been any defensive clips. Do you think that, are you going to be able to get to the next preseason match? Is this something you're going to have your eye on if you make it out there?
Yeah. I plan on being out there. We already have planned on going out there. They're making me take Saturdays off right now, so I can get out there and be there. But yeah, it's definitely what I'm going to be watching probably the most is how the back line is shaking out, what formation we're even in, because we haven't had the formation lineup. We've just had the names.
Right.
And so I imagine it's kind of been a little fluid with as many players as we're recycling in and out. But definitely curious to see some of that stuff. Couple quick notes. We do have 11 goals already this preseason.
Yeah.
And we have 8 different players scoring those 11 goals, with Doling and Bruce the only with multiple goals. But you definitely have a lot of variety there. The back line, we've seen Zali's name a few times in the play-by-play. Apparently, Kalen has been fantastic defensively.
That's promising. That's very promising.
And so I'm not super worried about it now. You gave up 2 to Lou City and 3 to Chicago, and then only 1 to Detroit and only 1 to El Paso. And so I think I'm not like panicking by any means about it, but I am very curious to see what it looks like Saturday when I actually get to see it on the pitch against CSU Pueblo. And then we might not see a whole lot out of that match with it being a college team, but we'll get to see something. Hopefully we'll get to see some of the kids out there. I find it a little interesting that, we don't have how many trialists. I think there were like 6 trialists in the starting lineup against El Paso. And most of them, 5 or 6, it was a lot. And most of them were players that, we don't necessarily know much about. So I imagine one of those, or if not more, come on. We've seen a few good things. One of them, Danny Robles, has scored a goal for us. So there's a lot that I'm interested in watching on Saturday. But the defense, especially, we just know so little about it right now that I'll definitely be keeping my eye on that, and I'll be definitely staying on that far end when we're on offense or defense, just so that I can get a good look at that back line, and then also getting a good look at the attack in the next half or so. So I'm excited for it, and hopefully this back line is meshing well and can look solid going in. I think we're playing more of a 4-4-2 or a 4 at the back system would be my guess, with as few players as we have that are true center backs. And so looking to see if that's the case and how it looks for sure.
Yeah, I was going back through our messages here and looking at the notes that I had on the trialists that we had. So Danny Robles played for Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC, who we did play in the preseason last year.
We did.
He had 2 goals, 0 assists, and 1,994 minutes. He is an attacking mid for the Northern Colorado Hailstorm. Jose Sosa, not that Jose Sosa. This one is a midfielder, played for UCLA, 1 goal, 4 assists, and 1,705 minutes. And Dylan Tavani, a defender, played for Cal Poly Humboldt, 3 goals, 6 assists, in 1,444 minutes in college play. So, I mean, these are some guys that, we've heard Robles' name a couple times. Like you, if I'm able to get out there on Saturday, like I would definitely want to watch the defenders, watch these trials, see who's standing out. We've heard rumblings that there is going to be another signing coming soon. We don't know concrete details on this. Apparently the player was out of the preseason match on Sunday. So we don't know any more details on that at this time. But yeah, there's some good things that are going on. And then, Kyle Colonna, the other one that came on, a 6'3" defender from San Diego State University. No goals, no assists of mention. So a couple collegiate players that are getting opportunities for United. Exciting to see. Guys that are, apparently were by the stats that I've seen from what I've looked at and seen of them, they were done very well in their collegiate careers. So there's definitely some room for improvement there. So, Earl, are you going to make it out there this weekend? No. Okay.
No.
Well, hopefully.
Unfortunately, I have a birthday party that I have to be at.
Yep. Welcome to being a dad. Hopefully we'll get one of these last two preseason home matches streamed somewhere. I don't know if the club is planning on doing it or not. We haven't heard anything yet. But I mean, yeah, things are looking really good so far for New Mexico United. Moving right ahead, there was one other announcement that I wanted to mention. The U.S. Open Cup second round pairings have been announced. And so with that coming out, New Mexico United will either play Park City Red Wolves or UDA, which is actually based out of Las Cruces, depending on the winner of that matchup in the first round of the U.S. Open Cup. And that match will take place in April. So I'm excited for this one here. We heard Park City's name last year. UDA, obviously, I had the opportunity to go cover them a couple months back. I wasn't able to go and do that though, for the cup.us. But I mean, I think that'd be a great opportunity there for UDA and for New Mexico United to get on a pitch together. Don't know where that match is going to be. I believe it's going to be at UNM Soccer Complex though. But I mean, could you imagine like two teams from New Mexico in the Open Cup together? Like that, I think to me, that's an interesting story. As far as I can tell, as far as I've been able to find, that hasn't ever happened in Open Cup history. So if that's the case, what does that mean for soccer in New Mexico? Earl, let's start with you.
I mean, what do you want to know? You have a higher league playing a lower league. This is the first time I've ever heard of UDA or UDT or UAV, whatever their name is, UDA. First time I've ever heard of them. So, I mean, it's good because it gets them some kind of recognition, it gets them some kind of spotlight. But I mean, with New Mexico United, I mean, soccer in New Mexico is thriving.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So yeah, I mean, UDA, it was a name that I think they didn't qualify last year, but they were a club that was in the running because they do play in the UPSL. I mean, Jacob, from your perspective, same question. I mean, what does this mean for soccer in New Mexico? Is this showing that New Mexico is taking another step up in terms of the talent that's here in and around the state and the surrounding areas?
I'm going to go a little contrarian here and say nothing. It's kind of like Earl, but if UDA does get past Park City, and then if they can like put up a quasi fight against United, then I might say it means something. But at the moment, just the fact that we might play them doesn't mean a whole lot to me. Other than it is kind of cool that we could have two New Mexico teams playing each other. But as far as what it says about the state of soccer in New Mexico, I think United, the U23s and the academy, and then United having 3 academy players signed to an academy contract on the first team, that all says more to me than having another club that we might play in the Open Cup.
All right. So, I mean, yeah.
To be fair, I do think it's pretty cool. As far as your question, though, that's how I feel.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. I mean, these are, UDA is basically a junior college team at New Mexico State. And these guys, and a lot of these guys, they look very, very young looking at their roster. They are from, a number of them are from New Mexico. A number of them are from, Arizona, Texas, Juarez, Mexico, places like that. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with their matchup against Park City. And as always, the Open Cup matches are all streamed live on ESPN Plus. Oh, by the way, that brings up another point that we did not mention yet. USL has signed another 1-year deal, or a new 1-year deal with ESPN to have all the matches broadcast on ESPN Plus. We don't know if there's a broadcast schedule for ESPN proper yet. As soon as we know that information, we will, of course, put that out to you guys. This took a while to come about, and something that we pondered and questioned, is the USL media rights deal going somewhere else? Do you think this is the right move for USL at this time, Jacob, to stay with ESPN, or do you think that they should have moved on at the end of the rights deal that they had?
No, I think it's the right move, not knowing what else could have been. Maybe if there was a Peacock move or like even an Apple TV move, maybe that would have been the right move. But without knowing what else was out there, I mean, ESPN obviously has the name recognition. It's a platform that, for the most part, runs fairly well, and is really kind of easy to maneuver and easy to operate. So I think at the end of the day, it's the right move. I wish we could get a long-term deal somewhere with a little bit of stability, but I also understand that we are lower league American soccer, and without seeing our numbers as far as viewership, probably don't have a whole lot of leverage to try to get something more than that. But I do think that it was the right move, and hopefully the continued coverage on ESPN Plus will lead to maybe a long-term deal either there or somewhere else down the line.
Earl, do you think the lack of a long-term deal in the midst of this round of negotiations is detrimental to the USL's growth, or do you think this is something that they continue to build on? We know they had good numbers in the broadcast, in the national broadcast. We know that the USL Championship final had good numbers. But I mean, what's the deal? Do you think that this was USL's intent to just sign a 1-year deal, or do you think they were kind of forced into it by ESPN?
I mean, with this close to the season and them not knowing what's going to happen, I think they're kind of forced into it. I mean, their hand kind of got forced because obviously you need some kind of deal to grow. So with that deal happening, I mean, we're literally a month away from the season, and now they're announcing a TV deal. So I think they didn't really have a choice because of it. And the 1-year deal allows them to kind of force ESPN's hand to show, hey, look, we bring you revenue. We bring you all this profit. We bring you all this TV time. Hook us up a little bit and give us a long-term deal, or we'll take our talents somewhere else. So in the long run, I mean, yeah, they got their hand forced right now, but when you look at the grander scheme and the bigger picture of it, after this year, if ESPN doesn't want to extend the USL into something long-term where they've been successful, they can go be successful somewhere else with Apple TV or Peacock or something and kind of force ESPN's hand to give them a better deal.
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting to see what happens here at the end of this new 1-year deal. I don't know that Peacock is the place. Peacock is very proudly the home of the Premier League. I don't see them doing lower level soccer. That's just my opinion. I mean, maybe Apple TV is the best place, maybe Paramount, because we know that Paramount has picked up all sorts of leagues, from South American leagues to Serie A to some others, to some other lesser known leagues.
Live golf.
Yes, Live Golf is Jacob, you muted.
That's Live Golf is on the CW. Thank you very much.
Of all the places for Live Golf to be on the CW, good Lord. Oh man, they've gone from superheroes to Saudi Arabian golf.
I didn't think that Live Golf was going to be brought up today. Honestly.
I didn't either.
You're welcome, by the way.
Thanks, Earl.
It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens at the end of this season. It'll be interesting to see what happens throughout. What type of national broadcast the league gets, what numbers, if they release that information, how that turns out for the league. Since MLS is going to be on Apple TV, they won't have that competing broadcast airtime, at least in the traditional sense. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I mean, we're closing on opening day. I mean, we are 18 days from opening day of the 2023 season for the league. We are 25 days away from New Mexico United's season opener. So the season is right around the corner, guys. I think we're probably going to go start back to our weekly schedule here starting next week, because we will have some more preseason stuff to talk about next week. Hopefully another player signing for New Mexico United to talk about as well. So we do have it's speeding up upon us. We're this close to being back at the lab and being in front of 15,000 screaming United faithful. So on a Wednesday, yes. We still don't have a stadium deal. Like I said earlier, I texted the club with a teaser Sunday night. No stadium deal yet. Earl, of course, has issues with this because Earl wants the naming rights to go to somebody other than First Financial Credit Union. Earl, when the stadium is announced, and this is something we've talked about for a long time, when the stadium is finally here, we can't wait to be there. We're excited, whatever. Earl has a problem, though. And we're going to clear the air right here. Earl, what is your problem with First Financial, and what does the club have to do to solve it? How can the club make you happy?
Well, I mean, the club can't do anything because First Financial is a shitty bank.
See, that topic was not brought up the other night. I think someone got turned down for a business loan. And they're bitter about it, is what it sounds like to me.
No, I didn't get turned down for a business loan. I got turned down for an actual fucking credit, a debit card, like a debit account to bank with them. So no, they're a shitty freaking company, and I have my own personal opinions as to why United is tied to them. Cue the fucking Jets, but that's just on me.
Quote, their blowjobs are a little bit less. That's an Earl Nieto quote that hopefully we don't get fired for.
And this is why we will never be the official podcast of the club. This is why. Earl, you made a comment in our group text saying you would like to see them open it up to other entities, other companies throughout the state because they claim to be the state's club. I mean, what other local businesses do you think are big enough to put in a bid sufficient enough to warrant naming rights to a new stadium?
I mean, you could just look around. What New Mexico companies are out there? I mean, Dion's.
Okay.
Blake's.
I mean, Blake's already has a tie-in, so I mean, and Dion's does as well. So I mean, those are valid. I think those are valid opportunities there.
I mean,
Dion Stadium, First Financial. Meow Wolf is already the kit sponsor, so I mean, maybe, but that's Peter paying himself his own money. So,
I would have to look at different New Mexico companies, but I'm happy with anyone but First Financial Suck It Union.
I'm glad that the truth came out on the pod, that he just got turned down and he's bitter about it, because that at least, like, it's still fucking stupid. Don't get me wrong, but at least it makes some
So
sense.
no,
Here's
here's my thing, not sports related, and kids, close your ears. I'm just kidding, I won't cuss. I actually owe the cuss
It's
jar.
too late for that.
I owe the cuss jar a couple coins, so
We passed the no swearing within the first minute of the show.
I'm relatively sure I've sweared several times.
yeah. So my thing about First Financial Credit Union is they preach and live off of helping New Mexicans, and I'm putting that in air quotations, helping New Mexicans, but yet they cannot help when you don't have stable credit, or you cannot.
Because they're not a bank; they're a credit union. That is.
They also can't help when you have too much debt on your account because you have a mortgage or you just got a new car or anything like that. So no, I don't agree with their policies and their prophecies.
That's every credit union, Earl.
Actually, it's
Hold
not.
on, hold on, wait a minute.
It's not.
They're prophesying.
And no, that's not every credit union, because I now bank with State Employees Credit Union, who, by the way, can be a sponsor.
You're a state employee.
Yeah, but you didn't need to be a state employee to do it.
Okay, Earl.
So are you saying that First Financial should offer educational opportunities for people to understand credit better, understand ways to improve their credit, to understand banking and how to finance and budget? Are you saying that First Financial should be doing those sorts of things to help people?
I feel like this is a trick question.
No, it's not. I'm legit. Is this something you feel like are they not doing this? Is this something that you think that they should be doing?
I don't know. I mean, if they are not doing it, yes, they should be doing it, because I know State Employees Credit Union does. Before you open an account with them, you have to go through this whole hoop and hurdle and everything just to get it done. But they guarantee you approved. Hey, you're going to be approved as long as you do this, and this. Then you're good. But no, First Financial just shuts you down and says, hey, there's the door, kick rocks. But then you turn around and that's like New Mexico United's big thing is, hey, we're First Financial Credit Union training facility and shoes and fucking haircuts, and we're also a sponsor for
that's about, right?
What? Oh, I know.
All about the money.
I know. It's dumb. And I don't approve of it. I don't agree with it, but who am I? I'm just some guy wearing a white t-shirt today.
All right, well, let me ask you this then. And I don't know if this is something we kind of stayed away from before because of the political nature of it. Would you be okay if the club...
Thank you, Jacob. Rule number one, we don't talk politics on this, just so you know.
I got it in there. So
you're muted.
You were muted.
I just unmuted and said it. ExxonMobil as a sponsor. Would you have a problem with that? Since you have a problem with First Financial because of the things that whether we don't know, and would you have a problem with ExxonMobil?
I don't know. So, like I said, this is not a political show. And I'm not a political.
I'm not trying to make it political. I'm just asking because that was the thing last year. A lot of fans had issues.
I've seen it last year, and I saw the tifo of Exxon out, whatever the hell it was, and whatever people were against ExxonMobil. I personally could give two horses shits about it, and two rats fucks with it as well, because I don't care. I don't get into the political nature of anything, and whatever the grander scheme that they want to look at, that's on them. The people that don't have anything better to do are going to look into ExxonMobil, and that's not me.
I have never been so nervous on this show than I am right now. And we threaten the Syrians or the Saudi Arabians, and yet I'm still
Earl threaten the Saudi Arabians. So I mean, okay. I mean that's perfectly valid. I mean. To me, like sports and corporate sponsorships go hand in hand. People have problems with beer sponsors, with cigarette sponsors, with all sorts of different things. People have problems with ExxonMobil. People have problems, with whatever the case may be. But in the end, it's revenue for the club to pay for things such as the stadium and the land and things of that nature, paying for additional players, paying for better facilities and all sorts of services and things like that. Jacob, is there anyone in particular that you think stands out as a potential naming rights deal for the stadium when it does get announced?
I think Earl kind of already mentioned them. I mean, I don't think we're going to see a Crane Shares stadium or anything along those lines where it's kind of like, what is that? I think they're going to do their best to find the best deal from a local business, whether that's Dion's or Blake's or Meow Wolf or New Mexico True or First Financial. He just brought Cheese Whiz.
Yes, he did. He brought cheese. Earl is in high school.
Oh my god. I don't even know. I don't even know. Anyways, back to the question. So I do think it'll be somebody.
You just picked a little thing of cheese out.
Yeah, I can't look at it when I'm trying to talk. I'll bring you back in a minute, Earl. I'll bring you back in a minute. Hold on. If and when we get the stadium and if they name it, if somebody has naming rights to it, I kind of just want it to have a nickname. But there's just too much money in the naming rights, especially with it being a privately funded stadium and not having any of the local money from the bill that was let go or denied or voted against here a while back. I think that you're going to have naming rights, and I do think it'll be a local. I would love to see it be Dion's specifically. But who knows, man? At the moment, I just want a stadium, and honestly, it could be anybody sponsoring it, and I'm still gonna go. I'm still gonna support, because what drives me nuts about like the Exxon and Chick-fil-A and stuff like that is one, I don't know enough about it. I don't the Exxon one specifically. I don't look into it. I've never looked into it. I can't do anything about it. So why am I going to put time and effort into figuring out what's going on? For the most part, is kind of how I look at it. You know, I've got 3 kids, a 4th one on the way. At the end of the day, I look out for them. And I know you can argue that, 50 years down the road, Exxon's going to affect your kids in some way, shape. Whatever. But that being said, if it's Exxon Fieldhouse or whatever you want to call it, and people boycott it because they don't want Exxon to profit, like Exxon's paying the club money to have their name up there, but that doesn't mean you have to support like you not going to the game isn't affecting Exxon whatsoever, because it's still already Exxon Field. So I don't care what it's called. I'm still going to go. I'm still going to be excited. I want a freaking field. And guess what? Most of the time, these sponsorships, like look at the Pit, Wise Pie.
Oh man, that was
how long?
Wise Pies and then Dream
like
Style. Yeah.
I mean, these things cycle through. Nothing.
And those are both a giant mess.
Yeah, and so you just take it with a grain of salt. The fact that this even got brought up in our chat blew my mind. And Earl's take, while still stupid, makes a little more sense than it did the other night. But I mean, it makes a ton of sense now that he's sitting there on a couch eating Cheese Whiz. And so I fully get that. I mean, be a grown up and get like cheese and crackers, for Christ's sakes, man. Like, if you're gonna do a snack this late, like make it like semi-professional. Cheese, real cheese, not foamy, stringy canned cheese.
I guess we should consider ourselves fortunate he's not just turned it up and spraying it in his mouth.
I was waiting for the Goofy movie. Just
Oh, that's playing in the background.
Please turn the camera to me, because if it is, I'm walking out. I'm walking out if that's the case. I don't believe you, though. No, don't put it on. Show me right now. I
All
don't
right,
know.
well, while Earl contemplates getting us banned for showing copyrighted content,
That's why I'm not showing it.
Sure. That's never stopped you before, Earl.
we do have one final topic that hit this week, and that is the New Mexico Runners. They had another match this past weekend, and their season long, or not season long, but their losing streak extends to 4 matches here on the season. After opening season with a 3-0 record, they've now lost 4 in a row. The most recent loss was on the 19th up against the Colorado Inferno. Runners were defeated by a final of 13-8 in this one. Runners are still dealing with some injuries and some things going on. Just haven't been able to pull it out here the past couple of weeks, which is unfortunate for them.
3 of those 4 were also on the road.
Yes.
Whereas 2 of the 3 wins to start were at home. So maybe getting back home, settling down a little bit, will turn it around as well. Damn it, Earl, as well as getting healthy.
Yeah, all those things will certainly help. Let's see. They lost 4.
Hey. It's the Leaning Tower of Chisa.
Losses to Amarillo, Wichita, Kansas Bandits, and the Colorado Inferno leave the Runners still in 3rd place in their division with a 3-4 record. They do return to action this Saturday, February 25th, of the 5:05 kickoff at the Rio Rancho Event Center, where they take on the Wichita Wings, the first of a 2-match homestand for the Runners. Again, this Saturday, February 25th. So get out there if you're not. In theory, you could make both United and the Runners matches. But if you can only pick one or the other, I highly encourage you to go check out the Runners if you haven't seen them already.
Does that theory involve teleportation? Because it's at 3, is it not?
Yeah.
And so that gives you till 5, and then you have 5 minutes to get from.
Yeah, I know. Well, you can still catch the second half.
The event center.
You can still catch the second half. So just saying, in theory,
just condoned speeding across town.
Speeding irresponsibly.
No, I'm condoning following the flow of traffic in Albuquerque on a Saturday.
Well, he gets mad at me for the Leaning Tower of Chisa.
No, I got mad at you for the Leaning Tower of Chisa.
Runners have
so cheddary.
Runners have 5 games remaining on their season, still very much with an opportunity to make the playoffs here with a good run of form over their final 5 matches of the season. So get out, support the Runners. Can't wait to see them back in action again this weekend. Guys, we covered a lot this week. A lot happened over these past 2 weeks while we were out. Do you guys have any closing thoughts before Jacob gets us out of here?
I need more cheese.
And we're going to leave it at that tonight.
Oh, no, I have one more thing. Sorry. One more thing. How does a cow do math?
With a calculator.
I fucking hate you.
You got to come up with better ones, Earl. Oh, my God. A terrible cow math joke and the Leaning Tower of Chisa. Ladies and gentlemen, you tonight you got the true glimpse of what we deal with Earl on a daily basis in the group chat. But that's part of why we love him, is because he's a lovable goofball who apparently eats canned cheese at 10:15 at night. But I've noticed that since you've pulled out the string cheese or the cheese there, Team Earl on YouTube has been awfully quiet. I think you may have lost a fan. Actually, no. With Robert, he's probably doubling. He's probably like, yeah, that's my guy. Canned cheese at 10 o'clock at night? Hell yeah. That's probably what Robert's doing. But with that, like Seth said, we are going to go back to weekly starting now. So we will be here next Tuesday after at least 2 of us hopefully make it out to the United match, the preseason match against Colorado State University Pueblo. I, for one, am truly excited to go see live New Mexico United Soccer again after this holiday season is now over with. We can finally focus on what's important in life, and not family or food or Christ's birth or anything like that. But
none of that matters.
And so, really excited for that. We'll have me and Seth kind of going over what we saw there. Earl nodding along vigorously while eating beanie weenies maybe next week out of a can, or maybe SpaghettiOs.
Yoo-hoos.
Drinking a Yoo-hoo out of a sippy cup probably, because he's a real Benjamin Button type thing where he just where he kind of just keeps regressing to be younger and younger as we go on. Maybe he wasn't old at all after all. Maybe the 8:00 bedtime was because he's still a fucking child.
Maybe
that's probably what it is. Now that I think about it, so he said, "Hold on." I don't really want to hold on because I don't want to know what's going on. Sippy cup.
Oh yeah,
the little barrels. Yes, the little hugs. Good job. He's gonna drink it right now with his. So Earl, we were wrong all along, weren't we? You're not the old man of the group. You're just a fucking child, and that's why your bedtime is 8:00, and you're drinking little hugs and eating canned cheese.
No, I'm still the old guy. It's just with Alzheimer's, you start regressing in age.
Oh, so it's Benjamin Button type thing here, where it's like, okay, I got you, yeah, because the first financial credit union rant, it was definitely an old man get off my lawn rant. So yeah, it's we got a real conundrum here. I mean, he's special. He's special for sure, and that's what we deal with. So catch, oh excuse me, sorry. Catch the three of us back here next Tuesday, 9:00, talking preseason, maybe a little bit of the first week of MLS, depending on if they actually watch, because I know I'll be watching some. And yeah, Harry, thank you for being in the chat. Robert, aka Team Earl, fuck off. Just leave. Never comment again, even though the comment's too good for us. Just shove it. Is what I'll say this week. And to everybody else watched, listened in the future on the podcast streaming app of your choice. Thank you guys so much, and we can't wait to talk to you and with you and at you next Tuesday at 9:00. And so until then, guys, somos amigos.